Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I received a number of messages asking me my opinion on the Newport Vessels NK180S brushless motor, and I initially planned to get out a review earlier, but I decided to take some time and put some hours on the motor and my battery pack, which is dual 50 amp hour FPV POWER lithium ion batteries. So after about 40 plus hours and I think 8 or 9 trips out, I'm ready to give my opinion. Stay tuned. So the first thing I'll start off with is the batteries. This battery pack consists of two 50 amp hour FPV POWER lithium ion batteries. They're wired in series, so it gives me 24 volts. I think once they're wired up and plugged in, it shows up somewhere around 25.2 initially. So I've run this probably, I think I said 8 or 9 trips out with it. Initially I was a little worried or concerned, I guess you can say, in regards to what the battery life would be. On my first trip out, I didn't spend much time out there at all. I just kind of ran out for maybe a half hour full throttle bursts with it and that. And the initial thing that I was seeing was the voltage would drop, and actually the battery level would drop like 2 bars right away. It kind of concerned me a little bit, maybe about how long this setup would last. But after a number of trips out and for extended period, most of my trips are around 4 or 5 hours, and some of them consisted of some full to 80% to full throttle bursts. Some were trolling at smaller things, but there's all a number of combinations. And so I guess you could say after 8 or 9 trips out of what I would determine as a normal use for me, those concerns have been alleviated. The initial droppage in the 2 bars, I'm not sure what's going on with that on the controller, but that just might be something to do with the way lithium ion, the voltage drops, and the battery meter thinks that it doesn't have much power. But I can tell you, after I think my last trip out was 5 hours, I did about an 80% throttle out just over a mile, and then trolled for 5 hours, which, I mean, I was only using anywhere between 15 and 25% throttle, with a few bursts here and there to change locations and whatnot. And then I did a full burst all the way back in, and I was still getting, 4.8, 4.9 miles an hour, and it still showed 2 bars. But like I said, initially when I went out again, when I went out maybe at 80%, it dropped 2 bars. So I don't know what that is, but I'm not too concerned about that any longer. I think it would give me at least a full day on the water without an issue, which, I mean, 5 hours for me with the motor running almost 100% of the time, no issue whatsoever. So I will go over a couple of things. I'll go the pros and cons on this. One of the cons is the initial voltage. When you compare the voltage out of this lithium ion compared to a LiPo 4, the LiPo 4 is probably, your initial voltage you're going to see is probably about 26.8. So your initial voltage is going to be higher, so it's going to be, as you go on and go on, it'll drop down less than what these are. Like I said, this started off at 25.2, and after that full day, I'll show you the video, but you can see the voltage did drop, but there's still plenty of voltage there, and like I said, the speed was still there, 44.8, 4.9, so no issues there whatsoever. The other con to these batteries is price. These are priced higher than what you could probably build a LiPo 4 setup with dual 50 amp hour batteries. So if cost is an issue to you, that's something to consider. Other than those cons, that's about it. Now, for this setup, the pros for me is weight. This package in itself weighs less than 20 pounds. A friend of mine has dual LiPo 50 amp hour batteries, and I think he's somewhere up around 36 pounds. So for me in a kayak, portability, ease, just grab it by the handle, move it around, no issue. That's a big plus for me. The other issue is, like I said, size. This is fairly compact. It's in a Pelican 1400 case, easy to transport. His setup was in a full battery box, which was considerably bigger than this. So for weight and space savings, if those are something you're looking for, this is a definite plus package for you. The other thing you can do with these is, as this is wired in series right now, these two plugs using the bigger 10 gauge wires with the, I think these are the, like I said before, M4 connectors. Right now this is 24 volt, 25.2, but 24 volts, let's say. But the other thing is they also have these other smaller connectors, which are FPV uses exclusively throughout their line of products, including their power distribution hub. Yeah, as it stands right now, these two lines one comes from each other. One comes from each battery. They're still 12 volts each. So what you can do is you can get the FPV parallel pigtail wire these, and this gives you another battery source. Whether you want to power your motor and power your electronics or lighting or whatever else all at the same time, that's an option for you. Or whether you just want to use this as a backup, should your whatever you're using for your battery source. I use dual 17.5 FPV POWER lithium batteries to power my fish finder and any other accessories, my power ports and my 360 light. Theoretically, I could run my motor and power that all off of this package here. Either that, or if some days you want to go out, you don't want to use the motor or whatever else, this could be your battery pack to run everything else. Or you can just have this available as a backup power source. So there's a lot of options with this package over, let's say, a LiPo 4 setup. As I said, the LiPo 4 setups, FPV does have LiPo 4s in the 50 amp hour, and for, I'm not sure how much of a difference in price, but there's a bit of a difference in price. They are cheaper, so that's an option for you. And I mean, if even that is too expensive for you, a marine type 24 volt battery is considerably cheaper, yeah, although be it considerably heavier, but those are options you've got to figure out for yourself. So now let's get to the Newport Vessels NK180S brushless motor. When it comes to this motor, there were maybe two cons, if you want to call them that. When I first opened the package and I saw the size of the prop, I thought the prop may be a little undersized for this motor, compared to one of the other manufacturers. And the other con is this setup doesn't come with a battery, so you have to source your own battery setup. It runs 24 volts, so you've got to source that out. That being said, for some people, being able to source their own battery is a pro for them. They can go whatever battery manufacturer they want, go with the sizing that they want. You can build a larger size, let's say dual 100 amp hour lithium batteries, or you can go even smaller if you just want to use this to tour around your local small lake. You can use smaller batteries and have enough power to get you around. Or you can go with a marine lead acid type battery, a cheap alternative. That being said, I mean, they're a lot heavier too, but not coming with a battery gives you many options. Now, when it came to the prop, after, as I said, 8 or 9 trips out, 40 plus hours, the prop seems to be adequate. 4.85 mile an hour. In the future, I'd like to see a larger prop to see if we can get some more speed out of this. This is a 600 watt motor compared to one of the other manufacturers, which I believe there's a 400 watt motor. I think that this could sustain a bigger prop, and possibly we can gain some mile per hour. I think depending on prop. With me in this setup, we could probably bump it up to 5.5 mile an hour. When it comes to pros, is the cost. For me, up here in Canada, I priced out another manufacturer, similar motor, not the bigger one, but the similar one, would cost me $1,000 more. That's after I purchased the motor, and I gave it $1,000 for a battery setup. So that can go either way with you. You can go a little bit more expensive, or you can go cheaper. So that just gives you an idea. But adding $1,000 battery on top of this setup is still $1,000 less than the other manufacturer for me, which is a huge pro for me. By the time with us up here, the exchange rate, taxes, all those two factored in, that's my savings. So the bottom line is, would I recommend this motor? For me, yeah, 100%. I'm happy with it. With the amount of trips that I've taken out so far, it's performed flawlessly for me. I said speed 4.85 mile an hour. Happy with that. So it's definitely something that I would recommend. Stick around. I'll show you some of the on the water testing and some video there. I've been out here for 5 hours and trolling pretty well the whole time, with the motor somewhere between 15 and 20% throttle. According to this, voltage is still 24.1. Looks like over half battery. Finding that the battery meter isn't a true indication of power anyways, I don't think, what's left in it. So we'll give her a full throttle run back to the marina, see what kind of speeds we get. It's fairly calm here, maybe a little bit of a side wind. See how well she does. Looks like she's saying 99% throttle, whatever that means. And voltage will drop with the full throttle.
Yeah, so speed's 4.8, 4.9. Seems to be running good. So you got a bit of a crosswind, maybe a little bit at us, but not much. And we're still maintaining after 5 hours of trolling, albeit not using them a lot of throttle, a lot of power, but still a good day on the water, and still maintain a 4.9 speed. And say our voltage will, on full throttle, kind of drops back a little bit, but we're at 100%. Might be about I'd say maybe a mile to get to the marina. See what happens. Well, we're almost back into the marina. We're still going between 4.7 and 4.9. Voltage is 23.2, which will recover once you slow down a bit. And still moving along quite well. We might have went back, lost one bar in the battery, but like I say, I don't think that's a true indicator of power levels.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or get a hold of me through my YouTube channel. I try to get back to people as soon as I possibly can. Now get out there on the water. Remember, you can't put them in the net if your lure ain't wet. Thanks for watching.